Recently, I've released my game that I worked on for over 100 days, and it completely flopped. So today, I'm going to be making it better. If you haven't seen that video, the game is about cars going on a racetrack, but it's also like a rhythm game. So, cool stuff basically. Except there are a few problems with it. First of all, it's very pay to win. So I want to remove anything pay to win from the new game. Also, the way the player learns how to play is basically non-existent, so I want to improve on that. And lastly, it's lacking gameplay mechanics, so I'm going to add more. I'm pretty much throwing everything out the window except the gameplay. So I guess I should load up a new project. I started by making this cube for the player. I also added this button that might seem useless, but you see, this is actually the play button because it spawns the player. But you probably won't know it because there's no indication except this very obvious blue cube appearing. So I made the camera follow the player, okay? But there's still nothing to do except clicking the play button. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I can do better. So I made the player move by calculating the time of the movement and tweening the player's position. It's pretty cool, but you still don't have to click anything except the play button. I mean, it's not bad, but I can still do better. So let's make some cool game mechanics. The first game mechanic is the 90-degree turn. It's as simple as it sounds. When you see a square thing and there's a 90-degree turn, you'll have to press either the left or right arrow. I also made the player go back to the starting point every time they make a mistake. The second game mechanic is the 45-degree turn. The way it works is when you see a turn, but it's not a 90-degree turn, then you have to press the left or right arrow while holding down the up arrow. It might sound somewhat complicated, but let me tell you, coding this was not complicated at all. Like only 4 lines of code type simple. I think you're starting to see a pattern here. So the next game mechanic would logically be the 0-degree turn. I know it sounds stupid, but it's actually pretty fun. You see, when there's a square thing, but there's no way to turn, you have to press space. It's very simple, but it adds a lot to the gameplay. The last game mechanic is the speed pad. Nothing much to say about it, just some pads that change your speed. Now with the game mechanics done, I just have to introduce them to the player. So my idea is to make 4 worlds, each one introducing a new game mechanic across 10 levels. So I added another button and also this teleport thing. And with some nerdy stuff, I made the button only show up when a player is standing on it. So now I have a cool way of going between worlds. Except there aren't any worlds or a lobby. So let's start with the lobby first. Firstly, I made this box where the players will spawn and also this cool glass wall that currently serves no purpose. But it was still looking a bit bland, even though there's a cool glass wall. So I made this crate and this cylinder thing and just spammed them everywhere I could. But if you look behind the glass wall, there is nothing. So I made this conveyor belt and spammed it behind the glass wall along with the previously made assets. So now I had a cool lobby, but when I use the teleport it becomes a bit less cool. So I made this island and put water around it, but the player could easily walk off it, so I also added some fences, and the environment was done. After that, I made the first stage, which consisted of some 90-degree turns, and it looked pretty nice, except you could see the base plate. So I spammed some corner wedges, and it was looking even better. But the player probably doesn't know how to do a 90-degree turn, so I made this sign that tells them how to do it. Now, I don't know about you, but in my humble opinion, these gray cubes look very bad. So I made these glowing squares instead, and now they look much better. But let's go back to the lobby. Okay, so I can't do that. So I made this teleporter that can take me back to the lobby or any level in the world that I'm in. Except there's still only 1 level. So I made level 2. That's it, nothing interesting. Now something that is interesting is this cool level complete screen that displays some cool stats. But as you might notice, there's nothing in the reward section. So I added stars that you can get for completing a level. I also made it so you can only play a level if you have enough stars. Kinda like Speedrun 4. After that I finished the UI and made level 3, which was very similar to level 2. And for level 4 and 5, I made this labyrinth type thing which I thought was pretty cool. And for level 6, well, I made the wise decision to make worlds shorter in order to keep the game interesting. So there's no level 6. After that, I finished the teleporter in the lobby and World 1 was done. For World 2, I made this winter scene. For World 3, this city scene. And for World 4, this racetrack scene. I'm not going to go too in-depth, but they introduced the mechanics in the same order as this video. After that, I made some controller and mobile support. And I really overdone myself with this one. Now I could spend like 100 days polishing this game, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to slap the World Alpha on it, and I can release it without people thinking I'm lazy. So you can play the game. And if it does well, I'll update it. And if you want to see me make a game in only 3 days, then you should click the video on screen.